Without warning, the surface breaks as the orca rises, a massive dark presence from below. It does not rely on chaos to prove its strength, only coordination, intelligence, and precise action. In the vast ocean, every movement becomes a signal. Every wave makes way. And in the wild world it inhabits, true dominance belongs not to the most aggressive, but to the one who understands its power and uses it at the right moment. Dolphins are the ocean's endurance athletes. With long, streamlined, flexible bodies, they can pivot 180 degrees in an instant and surge forward at speeds of around 25 miles per hour. They possess strong memory, sophisticated communication, and tight group coordination. For this reason, orcas never pursue blindly. Every move is calculated. Guided by a leading female, the orca pod fans out and maintains constant pressure from behind, forcing the dolphins to change direction and break formation. Another group quietly moves ahead, forming moving underwater barriers. A few individuals employ a leap strategy, launching nearly 20 feet above the surface to observe the dolphins from above. These jumps also generate powerful surface disturbances that interfere with the dolphin's navigation. When one individual becomes separated from the protective circle, the orcas accelerate immediately, delivering a brief but precise strike that disrupts momentum. They then regroup as a tightly bonded family, turning the moment into a coordinated gathering within the open ocean. But the ocean never truly rests. The orcas continue onward, ready for the next challenge in the endless cycle of survival. In narrow straits, the great white shark stands as a symbol of absolute dominance. With a body stretching over 18 feet, razor-sharp teeth, and a bite force exceeding 4,000 pounds force, it appears almost like a flawless design of nature. Its silent presence alone is enough to make every other creature remain cautious. But today, the hunter will become the hunted. The surface rhythm shifts. A shadow weighing nearly 15,000 pounds rises from the depths, an orca. There is no reckless assault, only advanced intelligence and disciplined formation. Reading currents, judging distance, then locking onto the target through the ocean's acoustic sensing, disrupting the opponent's awareness. Rather than a direct confrontation, the orca approaches from a blind angle, delivering a precisely timed impact to the side, turning the shark upside down. In that moment, the shark enters a temporary state of immobility, as if its nervous system has been disoriented. The chase ends before it ever fully begins. The objective is not a display of dominance, but the liver, a vast internal energy reserve, rich in nutrients. This is how the ocean repeats an old rule. The strongest is not the one with the sharpest teeth, but the one that unites collective strength with superior intelligence. Gray whales are colossal travelers, weighing roughly 6 times as much as a killer whale. Each year, they leave the icy waters of the Arctic and journey toward the warm lagoons of Baja California, carrying the survival hopes of an entire new generation. Alongside her calf, the mother whale becomes a living shield, positioning herself between her young and every potential threat within the sea. Along a migration spanning more than 10,000 miles, their greatest challenge comes from a patient and unyielding rival, the killer whale. There is no haste, no chaos. They work in coordinated groups, repeatedly testing ways to break the protective circle around the calf. The pressure can last for hours, even days, with repeated harassment designed to wear down both mother and young. If the mother maintains steady breathing, stays close to the coastline, and keeps the calf tightly within formation, both may slip free from the encirclement, gradually fading from the predator's view. But when time and coordination take their toll, immense size slowly loses its advantage. On this journey, no strength is absolute. Even a giant driven by enduring maternal instinct may pay a price for falling half a step out of rhythm in the endless dance of survival. Beneath drifting ice in waters colder than 30 degrees Fahrenheit, the seal is a master of survival. A thick layer of blubber insulates a body weighing around 600 pounds, while sensitive whiskers read every ripple that signals danger. Resting atop an icy fortress, the seal believes it is safe until the water below subtly shifts. The orcas begin with a technique known as wave washing. The pod lines up side by side, swimming in parallel with flawless rhythm, accelerating before diving in unison. A final, powerful tail sweep sends a wave nearly 5 feet high, a massive surge of water that rattles the ice and throws the seal off balance. Wave washing is not an impulsive act, but intelligence refined across generations. Young orcas spend 3 to 5 years closely following their mothers and pod, learning how to read waves, assign roles, and coordinate flawlessly. Amid the brutal cold, the ocean repeats an old truth. Raw strength may shake the ice, But collective memory and the ability to learn are what allow a predator to endure through time. Humpback whales are the wandering artists of the ocean. With bodies weighing up to 88,000 pounds, a distinctive arched back, and pale patterns along the underside, they stand out clearly against the cold gray sea. Their pectoral fins, stretching up to 16 feet, sweep through the water like massive arms, powerful enough to make most predators hesitate. For orcas, however, humpback whales are not a test of strength, but a challenge of patience and strategy. They rarely confront a full group of adults head-on, instead focusing on mother and calf pairs that fall out of rhythm. Each time a mother surfaces to breathe becomes an opening, a moment when the orca pod quietly adjusts its angle, gradually draining precious oxygen and endurance. Most unsettling is the manipulation of instinct. One orca imitates the motion of lifting a calf onto its back, the same action a mother uses, luring the young away from the shelter of the massive pectoral fins. A difference of just a few inches in timing is enough to isolate the target. After hours of resistance, as the mother grows exhausted, the orca pod closes in, and the hunt comes to an end. Across the cold sea, beneath the fading echoes of humpback songs, the ocean whispers a stark truth. In the dance of survival, even those who protect with open arms can falter by a single missed breath. In the cold waters around subantarctic islands, sea lions often wander and bask near the shoreline, their playful growls blending with the sound of waves, creating a brief sense of calm. When vigilance fades to its lowest point, the ocean chooses that moment to reclaim the balance of survival. A rising tide marks the perfect window. An orca cuts through the surf, accelerates, and surges onto the shallows, knocking balance aside and leaving the sea lion disoriented. A powerful jaw, with bite pressure estimated at up to 19,000 pounds per square inch, holds firm, while the tail fluke generates thrust, drawing the heavy body back into deeper water before the tide recedes. This strategy demands near-perfect precision. A single miscalculation could leave the hunter stranded as well. When an adult sea lion reaches deeper water, the orca adapts again. It targets a vulnerable point along the flank, delivering a forceful impact without prolonged struggle. As the sea lion becomes temporarily immobilized by the physical shock, the pod moves in, bringing the hunt to a swift and controlled conclusion. On the deep seafloor, stingrays are masters of concealment, nearly vanishing from sight. But the orca has its own method of hunting. It combines sharp vision, acoustic sensing, and controlled tail sweeps to stir up the thin layer of sand, forcing the hidden ray to abandon its natural camouflage. Once the prey is exposed, the predator needs only a measured glide to place the stingray at a clear disadvantage. What stands out here is not raw power, but strategy. Two coordinated tactics working together show that the orca adapts to each species and each environment, like a true tactician of the ocean floor. The lion surges across the savanna, each heavy stride stamping its authority into the ground. Breath tightens, the formation closes, and escape routes are sealed within seconds. Another predator appears, and the angle of approach is cut off. No roar is needed. Choosing the right position is enough to seize the advantage. So what allows the lion to take control from the very first moment? Hyenas are masters of opportunity. An adult can weigh up to around 150 pounds, with an estimated bite force of over 1,000 swords, strong enough to snap through hard targets. Their clans are built on a matriarchal structure, led by seasoned females who enforce strict order and turn the group into a unified force that is hard to shake. They do not only hunt, they also routinely trail leopards or lions to contest access to food. When a lion's roar collides with the hyena's chilling laughter over what remains of a meal, the confrontation ignites instantly. If only a few lionesses are present, the hyenas exploit their numerical advantage, forming a noisy ring and applying constant pressure from multiple directions, steadily wearing down the defense rhythm, and at times forcing lionesses to leave the area. But the balance shifts completely when a male lion appears. With overwhelming strength, nearly 4 times that of a hyena, just a few decisive steps forward can make the clan hesitate, the formation break apart, and the group retreat in a hurry. At times, lions extend pressure through a long game strategy, following tracks and harassing areas where hyenas raise their young, forcing rivals to stay alert even in places that seem safest. The goal is not always food, but reducing competition and delivering a clear message about boundaries. That is why, no matter how persistent or numerous they are, hyenas must always be cautious in the presence of the savanna's king. A rivalry that feels deeply woven into the unwritten rules of this land. If the lion is a symbol of open, overwhelming power, the leopard is a quiet, solitary hunter. From the same cat family and competing for the same food resources, when interests overlap, there is almost no room for compromise. The leopard lives alone, so it often avoids direct confrontation, but lingering near a lion's patrol routes makes contact almost unavoidable. When a lion charges, an early reaction can still allow the leopard to get away. At speeds over 35 miles per hour, it can spring up a tree within seconds, quickly moving beyond reach. Along that thin boundary, awareness and reflexes become the shield that helps the leopard preserve its survival advantage again and again. But the more it moves along the edges of territory, the more scent and movement patterns are stored in the lion's memory. So in the next face-to-face moment, the charge is no longer a boundary warning. The lion applies pressure from the first beat, cuts off open space, locks down escape angles, and forces a decision in a split second. And if an entire pride detects it, the rhythm changes immediately. The circle tightens, each step compressing space, forcing the leopard to adjust from a disadvantaged position. One brief lapse is enough for the balance to tip completely, when the dominant force turns a chance encounter into a final outcome. The balance tips fully toward the dominant force. Crocodiles, the ancient reptiles of rivers and wetlands, can reach lengths of around 16 feet and weigh close to 1,000 pounds in large individuals. They are known for an almost invisible ambush style, remaining still, holding position, and waiting for the precise moment. Their strength lies in absolute patience and a sudden upward snap from beneath the surface, with a bite force once measured at around 3,700 psi. When lions approach to drink or cross a river, every step slows, every gaze scans the water. Yet the real danger often comes from a place no one sees in time. One sudden surge is enough to push the entire group back from the edge, retreating to familiar shallow ground. In that moment, what saves the lions is not strength, but reflex. A quick burst, a sharp change of direction, and staying close to the shallows. But when the encounter shifts onto land, the balance nearly reverses. On dry ground, lions are more agile and proactive, able to apply pressure where crocodiles struggle to turn or reposition. If a crocodile is forced too far from the water and cannot slide back in time, it faces a disadvantage against a rising group of lions. This encounter delivers a clear reminder. Power is not just size or intimidation, but being in the right place at the right time, within an environment one truly controls. Across the same grasslands, African wild dogs are among the most refined hunting specialists. Despite their relatively small bodies at around 70 pounds, they make up for it with endurance, speed, and coordination that few species can match. With success rates reaching as high as 80%, they become formidable rivals in the struggle for energy. But the moment that hunting rhythm crosses into lion territory, the atmosphere shifts instantly. Lions appear, move straight into the center, and assert control over the food source through sheer authority. Under overwhelming pressure, the wild dogs are forced to scatter like arrows, using speed to stretch the pursuit and carve open escape routes. Even so, lions are not easily diverted. One mistimed beat, one pup falling behind, and the distance vanishes. Each encounter like this is a way lions confirm control across the savanna. For wild dogs, as lion numbers rise in an area, the survival chances of their pups are directly affected. Studies suggest that only about 1/3 to 1/2 of the young make it to adulthood. On the savanna, the cheetah is the fastest runner. With a body of around 120 pounds, a flexible spine, and long legs, it can accelerate from near zero to over 60 miles per hour in just a few seconds. But speed is not always enough to protect it from lions, the dominant force of this land. Most of the time, the cheetah escapes by detecting danger early and breaking away before pressure closes in. One moment of distraction, letting a lion get too close, and the advantage of speed is immediately shut down. A split-second delay can flip everything. And pressure does not come only from the chase. After bringing down a target, the cheetah often must eat quickly and leave before other predators arrive. A few seconds too slow, and all effort can be lost. The lesson is clear. Not just running fast, but staying alert at the right moment is the true advantage. On the African savanna, there are borders no one can see, yet every lion can sense them. This is territory, the ground that holds water, grasslands, shade, and the routes prey most often follow. Holding that space means securing life for the pride, protecting the young, and extending the group's future. When they reach peak strength, young males are forced to leave the place they were born, roaming dozens of miles in search of land of their own. A roar carries like a declaration, and scent marks laid across low grass serve as a clear warning sign. But those same signals also invite a challenge, and the most formidable rival is another lion. Wherever he steps, the land may already have an owner. A clash can ignite as fast as a spark. The deciding edge is not only muscle, but will and pride, driving an opponent back from the boundary. The winner holds control of the territory and the chance to carry on his lineage. The one at a disadvantage must retreat to preserve the chance to live on. These internal battles between kings reveal the cold face of natural selection. There is no room for hesitation. Only those with the nerve, the toughness, and the awareness to stay sharp can hold their place and leave a mark for the next generation. A powerful dive cuts through the air, locking onto the target in an instant. Every movement of the eagle is a precise calculation. The moment the prey falls into its sight, all escape routes disappear completely. When another hunter appears, order collapses into an intense confrontation of skill and dominance. And in this sky, the one at the top does not need to display power. Mere presence is enough. Eagles are a group of apex birds of prey, with more than 60 species widely distributed across North America, Eurasia, and Africa. An adult individual weighs about 15 pounds and has evolved to operate with high efficiency in the air. Exceptional eyesight allows them to detect prey from very long distances. The core strength of an eagle lies in its ability to control space, turning the sky into a survival advantage. Within ecosystems, they serve as population regulators, removing weaker or poorly adapted individuals, thereby contributing to the maintenance of natural balance. Amid the Rocky Mountains, where thin air and harsh terrain prevail, only well-adapted species are able to survive. Mountain goats, with a low center of gravity and specially cushioned hooves, turn sheer cliffs into safe refuges, avoiding most ground-based predators. But at those heights, the most dangerous threat comes from the sky, the golden eagle. The hunter approaches in silence, its wingspan stretching nearly 7 feet, adjusting each beat as it glides close to the rock face without contact. When a young goat weighing around 10 pounds strays from its mother's protection, the eagle quickly sets its attack path. Pulling in its wings, it dives like a living arrow. The young goat is lifted from the cliff and carried away through open air. Although direct encounters with adult goats are rare, some highly experienced eagles are willing to attempt riskier strategies. Rather than lifting a heavier opponent, they apply constant pressure and control positioning. A single misstep is enough for gravity to finish the outcome. In this unforgiving terrain, the eagle does not rely on absolute strength. It relies on turning the mountain itself into an ally. A varied diet turns eagles into silent order regulators of the sky. Beyond hunting ground animals, they also exert clear pressure on many other bird species. When targeting groups of bee-eaters within their own habitat, eagles rarely rush an attack. Instead, they appear suddenly from a strategic altitude, instantly throwing the small formation into disarray. In that brief moment of confusion, a single precisely timed move is enough to separate one individual from the flock in midair. Against larger targets, such as solitary geese weighing around 10 to 12 pounds, eagles rely on their signature diving strike. The approach typically aims at a wing or the neck area, where disrupting balance is enough to shift control of the air entirely. In open space, the one that controls altitude always holds the advantage. More dramatically, even smaller birds of prey, such as hawks, vultures, or owls, may sometimes become opponents. Despite their agility, they struggle to counter the eagle's wide wingspan and superior gripping strength. In nature, any individual separated from its group faces clear disadvantage, and ecological order is maintained in this quiet yet enduring way. Eagles, especially the bald eagle, are often called masters of the sky for their highly refined fish hunting skills. For this predator, fish make up nearly 70% of the diet, turning open water into a familiar part of its territory. The hunt begins from a staggering height, where exceptional eyesight allows even the slightest movement beneath the surface to be detected from hundreds of feet away. Once the target is located, the eagle pulls in its wings and drops into a precise dive. Just above the water, the talons extend forward to secure the fish, while the rough, textured pads on the feet help prevent slipping. After gaining control of the catch, the eagle immediately regains altitude, leaving the water safely behind. The combination of vision, speed, and muscular strength turns each fishing hunt into a display of calculated precision, where control of the sky also means command over the world below. In tropical rainforests and open woodlands of Africa and South America, monkeys are considered masters of three-dimensional space. With a lightweight body of about 25 pounds, long limbs, and a balancing tail, they move smoothly through the upper canopy, where the ground seems far behind. Among the treetops, monkeys hold a clear advantage: wide visibility, multiple escape routes, and a sense of security within the dense network of branches and leaves. But the forest canopy is not beyond the reach of the sky. From above, an eagle observes in a completely different way, with vision 4 to 5 times sharper than that of humans, sharp enough to detect even the slightest unusual movement within thick foliage. A single individual distracted by feeding and lowering its guard creates an immediate opening. The eagle descends, draws in its wings, and navigates through gaps in the canopy, delivering a precisely timed strike that ends the hunt in an instant. The peak of this strategy belongs to the harpy eagle, the powerful phantom of the deep forest. With legs as thick as a human wrist and talons reaching up to 5 inches long, it is among the strongest birds of prey on Earth, capable of lifting animals such as sloths or monkeys weighing up to 25 pounds and carrying them back to the nest to feed its young. In the natural world, the encounter between eagles and snakes symbolizes precision confronting venom. Eagles that hunt snakes, especially the brown snake eagle, possess specialized biological adaptations that allow effective control over this type of prey. In every hunt, the eagle focuses on the opponent's head region. With gripping force from its talons reaching around 400 psi, it secures the head or the area just behind it, neutralizing the snake's ability to strike or deliver venom within moments. Along coastal regions and island environments where sea snakes are found, the white-bellied sea eagle is even known to target the banded sea snake, a species with extremely potent venom. Despite mastery of the ocean, sea snakes must surface to breathe. That brief and vulnerable moment determines the outcome. The eagle seizes the opportunity, takes control of the space, and concludes the encounter according to the uncompromising laws of nature. Into an ally. In winter, when familiar prey becomes scarce, eagles are forced to take greater risks to survive. They turn to high-risk, opportunistic targets such as foxes, most often young, injured, or inattentive individuals. Foxes are known for agility and cunning, so the eagle does not act impulsively, instead calculating every step of the approach with care. Rather than striking head-on, the eagle uses altitude and terrain to move in from beyond the prey's awareness. When the moment is right, The dive is swift and precise, forcing the fox to react from a disadvantaged position. A single unfavorable second is enough to determine the outcome. However, that advantage does not always guarantee success. An alert adult fox can still escape by relying on speed and terrain, and may even resist if it survives the initial strike. This reflects the stark adaptation of both species under the pressure of survival. It surged forward like a flash of lightning, a flawless strike that erased what was once a safe distance. Every vibration became a test of space, every attack a decisive moment where survival was determined. By the time the prey recognized the danger, the safe distance no longer existed. So what transformed a legless creature into a haunting terror across the grasslands? Across continents, from scorching deserts to dense rainforests, snakes exist as the land's silent guardians. Without legs and without sound, they rely on sensing vibrations, scent, and patience to gain the advantage. Their long bodies and slow metabolism allow them to conserve energy, waiting for weeks for a decisive opportunity. With more than 3,000 species, each hunting strategy is a different solution to the same survival equation. Within the natural cycle, snakes do not dominate, but they keep the balance that sustains entire ecosystems. In the dense rainforests of Central and West Africa, the gaboon viper nearly dissolves into the forest floor. With a body that can exceed 6 feet in length, a broad triangular head, and intricate camouflage patterns, it does not need to move to hunt. The gaboon's strength lies in not being seen. Its diet includes rodents, frogs, lizards, and occasionally birds or small mammals. Not fast like the mamba, the gaboon chooses the opposite strategy: absolute waiting. For hours, even days, it remains completely still, allowing the environment itself to guide prey within range. The moment converges. A sudden reflex, and everything is over in less than a second. Fangs reaching up to about 2 inches in length, combined with a large, precisely controlled amount of venom, allow the gaboon to conclude the hunt with minimal energy expenditure. In its world, time is not an enemy, but an ally. And this cycle continues in the same quiet manner. Unlike many snakes that lay eggs, the gaboon viper gives live birth. Each reproductive cycle, usually only once per year, the female can deliver between 20 and 50 offspring, fully developed and ready to survive independently from the moment they enter the world. On the Australian continent, where temperatures can rise above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, the inland taipan exists as a biological paradox. Its skin coloration shifts with the seasons, supporting internal regulation and adaptation to the harsh desert environment. Yet behind this reserved appearance is a snake that carries what is considered the most potent venom ever recorded among snakes. A single strike releases only a very small amount, but it is enough to rapidly overwhelm the nervous system of prey, a level of toxicity surpassing many other species, including the king cobra. Rather than pursuing, the inland taipan chooses a strategy of speed, restraint, and absolute precision. The hunt begins with scent. Its forked tongue continuously samples the air, delivering odor particles to the Jacobson's organ to track nocturnal rodents. A slender body and smooth scales allow it to glide across dry sand with almost no sound. At a distance of just a few feet, its vision is sufficient to lock onto a target within confined space. The moment of contact is extremely brief. Immediately afterward, the inland taipan retreats, allowing biology itself to complete the remaining process. This approach minimizes the risk of injury and conserves energy, a survival choice in an unforgiving desert landscape. Leaving the desert behind for the warm Indo-Pacific seas, the Belcher's sea snake slips through the water like a thin pencil line. About 40 inches long, with a slender body and pale banding, it nearly dissolves into the deep blue seascape. In the ocean, the Belcher's sea snake is a master of adaptation. It can dive to depths of about 300 feet and has been recorded more than 150 miles offshore, limits that very few snakes ever reach. A lung that extends nearly to the tail, combined with the ability to absorb some oxygen directly through the skin and the lining of the mouth, allows it to remain active underwater for long periods on a single breath, with almost no wasted energy. Because of these precise adaptations, the Belcher's sea snake does not need to swim fast or display power. It survives through pure efficiency. Quiet, graceful, and dangerous enough to remind everything around it that the ocean is never as gentle as it appears. Across the African savanna and open woodlands, a shadow nearly 14 feet long moves in silence. It is the black mamba, one of the fastest venomous snakes on land, capable of reaching speeds of about 13 miles per hour. It does not rely on elaborate camouflage. Its presence alone is enough to make the surrounding space feel tense and restrained. But speed is only the surface. The true power of the black mamba lies within its ink-dark mouth, where an extremely potent neurotoxin is delivered in a single strike. Around 100 milligrams of venom can rapidly disrupt the nervous systems of large animals in less than 20 minutes. For the black mamba, contact is not the beginning of the hunt. It is the moment when the outcome is already decided. Yet in nature, no dominance is absolute. Within the same environment, the mongoose appears as a rare evolutionary counterbalance, possessing modified acetylcholine receptors that reduce the effects of black mamba venom. Rather than engaging head-on, it circles patiently, wearing down its opponent's stamina. With one precisely placed bite, the creature that once inspired fear across the grasslands becomes a source of energy for the mongoose. Within the dense forest layers of South and Southeast Asia, the king cobra reigns like a crownless monarch. With a maximum length reaching about 18 feet and a massive body weighing close to 40 pounds, it is regarded as the largest venomous snake in the world. The power of this king is most clearly revealed in its unforgiving diet. The king cobra hunts and feeds almost exclusively on other snakes. When it senses a threat, it can raise the front portion of its body up to about 6 feet above the ground, fixing its gaze directly on an opponent with cold authority. Each individual controls a territory spanning several miles, holding a critical position within the tropical forest food chain. Yet this dominance is not limited to hunting. During the breeding season, which lasts about 3 months, males engage in silent contests for access to females. The one that maintains control determines which genetic line continues. They may grapple, attempting to press the opponent's head down into the forest leaf litter. But that is not the full story. Behind this formidable exterior lies a trait rarely seen in snakes: maternal care. The king cobra is the only snake known to build a nest, gathering decaying leaves into mounds about 2 feet high, quietly guarding the eggs through the relentless rains of the tropical forest. Like the inland taipan, the horned desert viper is shaped by arid lands. With a body length of about 24 inches, it carries a pair of scaled horns above the eyes, shielding against blowing sand and blurring the outline of the head from watchful eyes overhead. By burying itself beneath about 2 inches of sand, it leaves a surface so still it appears as if it was never there, making it a master of camouflage. When it needs to reposition, the horned desert viper uses sidewinding, a clean, precise diagonal motion. This allows only about 7% of its body to touch the hot sand, reducing heat absorption and leaving a broken trail that is difficult to follow. Even subtle vibrations within about 10 feet are enough for it to read the rhythm of prey movement, as if the desert itself is whispering directions. The hunt begins with stillness, a short, accurate strike, and then it sinks back into the sand, returning silence to the land. With a slow metabolism, it can draw energy from a single meal for many days, a valuable advantage in a scarce desert. In southern deserts, that strategy becomes even more refined. a close relative of the horned desert viper, Peringue's adder in the Namib's red sands, buries nearly its entire body beneath the sand, leaving only the eyes exposed to watch. It gently wiggles its tail, imitating a writhing worm, something desert lizards can hardly resist in such a harsh environment. A lightning-fast strike closes the hunt, where camouflage and deception merge into one. Across the vast ocean, the orca dominates not only through strength, but through intelligence and absolute discipline. Each appearance serves as a reminder that true power does not need chaos to earn respect. If you appreciate authentic stories about strength and order in the natural world, like this video. And to continue exploring the wild through future journeys, subscribe to the channel and stay with us